The year is 2007 and the holiday season is fast approaching, but you've already been given the best gift of all. You're sat on your couch in awe as you pull an all nighter experiencing what was to become one of gaming's most beloved first person shooter campaigns. Then you begin to act sick so you don't have to go to work or school the next day while you boot up that multiplayer for the first time. This was such a huge step in the franchise that we have all come to know, Call of Duty. When Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was released on November 5th for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC, there was already a big community for the series, but little did we know that this game had so much more to grow. Fast forward to 2025 and we have seen 17 more games come out in the mainline series, bringing the total to 21. Safe to say that we have seen our fair share of warfare, and we have high expectations when it comes to the story, the multiplayer, and any other modes that the game has to offer. But as another year blows by us, we have been introduced to the next game in the franchise. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the 8-Hour Truth, the series where we play games for an 8-hour time frame and give you an honest review if it's worth your time, or if you're playing Black Ops 6, the DLC. Welcome to the 8-Hour Truth about Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Before we truly get into it, I know that the game has been out for the last 3 months, but all the gameplay you're going to see has been through my 8-hour experience with the game. But I know the multiplayer is a controversial topic in the Call of Duty community, and with such an integral part of the game, I'm going to throw in some tidbits here and there just to cover some of the ever evolving aspects of the game. But with that said, let's get into it. Like I mentioned before, Call of Duty has always had a campaign to play, as well as a multiplayer infamously developed by studios like Infinity Ward and Treyarch. But we have had other teams like Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software take a crack at them, but Treyarch was the first to introduce us to the very well-known mode, Call of Duty Zombies, which is the third mode we will take a look at in this video for Black Ops 7, but first we're going to start with the campaign. Thankfully, we're given a co-op campaign this time around, so I dragged a couple buddies of mine to join me on what would be the biggest video game-induced acid trip of our lives. Black Ops 7's campaign is a direct sequel to the campaign of Black Ops 2, which released back in 2012. Kinda grasping at straws there, aren't we, Call of Duty? We're set in the year 2035, 10 years in the future from previous events. If you haven't played Black Ops 2, well, you play as this guy Mason, and then you play as another Mason, the first Mason's father, but in two different time periods, the present and the past, both hunting the same guy, Menendez, he's the bad guy, and then there's this guy Woods, both Masons know him, but the old Mason is dead in the present time, and things go south in the past and present, and there's multiple endings to the game, but the canon ending is that young Mason kills Menendez in the end, but I know it's a bit complicated, but it's not as complicated as other game series, I swear. It's just weird, but not as weird as what you may have to face in the future here. As we said, 10 years have passed, but a video has surfaced across the world, and it's Menendez. He's back, and he's saying that he's not dead, while this organization that's called the Guild mentions that they're going to handle it. But we'll get back to them. We're going to switch over to young Mason, or as we know him, David Mason. He's been briefed on the situation, which he knows is impossible since he was the one who handled him previously. So his team is going to investigate because no matter what, his team, the government, and himself know that this is a threat. But where are we investigating? Well, the first mission takes place in Avalon, and who would we be investigating? You guessed it, the Guild. After infiltrating the Guild's base in Avalon, taking down a whole army of soldiers, breaking a few servers, and doing the odd puzzle or two, we set the place to blow, and just before we think we have won, we walk straight into a trap.
Especially considering the mess you've already made.
Yeah, we've been straight up drugged, more specifically hit with a bioweapon, and the effects are not pretty. I told you Treyarch was the first to introduce zombies to Call of Duty, and the raging meatbags attacking you is their specialty. So now it's a mad dash to get out of the Guild's base, but we are seriously under the effects of this bioweapon. And so is everyone, thanks to the bombs we set up blowing up half the place, releasing it everywhere. The red smoke fills the whole environment, and it's hard to tell what is even reality at this point. After a totally not horrifying stroll through the facility, we escape but fall into a world that does not make sense. This is what a fever dream would look like: random floating rocks and platforms, and new upgrades for us to do super jumps to get across them. And these won't even be the only abilities we acquire during this insanity. The boys and I are given a task: reach the mansion, which in Call of Duty fashion means fighting lots of enemies along the way. But let's get it straight, this isn't like any other Call of Duty. Which I have to mention now, this might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it was a cool concept, which of course is only in the campaign, so the multiplayer is unharmed by this insanity. Which I believe is the appropriate way for the developers to play around and give us something unique without touching something the community loves. After exo jumping our way around enemies, we finally reach the mansion and a cutscene plays. We are met face to face with Menendez. Menendez possessed by the devil, apparently. And we are dropped in what is a unique Call of Duty boss fight. You fight off hordes of bio enemies and chipping away at Menendez's health when you can, and eventually you're given a machete pickup, which allows you to call in a giant machete airstrike. I know, how could it get any weirder? But it really can. This is only the first mission, remember. Tons of ammo and multiple machete strikes later, we take down Menendez and awaken from the bio-induced drug trip in a different area of Avalon where our communications team tell us they couldn't track our whereabouts. But we still have more work to do now that this bioweapon is in play. So without going through a whole second mission detail, I'll give you the highlights so you know what you're in for. Play in the real world, very basic COD formula: fight bad guys, talk to people, get objectives, and collect intel. But eventually find something related to the bio fun and get sucked back in. Oh, and if the game tells you to stand on an aircraft, get your whole team to stand on the aircraft. You don't want to be like this guy.
Bye, have a great time.
As much as my brain was melting from this new take on the game, it felt like a fresh idea for the series. I mean, here we are, Mission 2, talking to a dead Woods who is a figment of our imagination. We are reliving his trauma in the most chaotic way, fighting off hordes of not just humans, but robot enemies, and then enemies from the zombies mode, like spiders and parasites, only to eventually come into another huge boss area where Woods has been fused with this giant plant monster. This fight felt really intense. It was so cool. Destroy the spores on its body and shoot the mouth of the plant heads, free Woods, and snap back to reality, where we're actually just talking to the person we were looking for the whole time, and they tell us the bioweapon's name is the Cradle. Cutscenes included, we spent about almost 2 hours in campaign, so I thought it would be an appropriate time to stop and jump over to zombies, since we have a lot of ground to cover in the 8 hours. When we arrive in the menu for zombies, there are a number of things that you can and should explore right away that will help your zombies game. Class setups that allow you to choose custom weapons and equipment that you want to begin the game with. Gobblegums, which are one-time usability with a variety of effects from earning extra points to having every perk in zombies. Then, the next important tab is Research, where you can select a perk or ability to research to discover new augments, which enhance the features for later playthroughs. As for the story of Black Ops 7 Zombies, we are continuing where we left off from the ending of Black Ops 6 Zombies. After beating the boss at Janus Towers, we are met up with the original fan-favorite Zombies crew. But this reunion is short-lived, as a new problem arises when what people are calling the Great Voice shows up, and it seems like he sucked out our souls and banished everyone to the Dark Ether, where we begin an incredibly huge story arc with an incredibly huge first map to boot. We begin outside of Janus Towers, and with the newer Zombies formula, we are given instructions on basic steps to get the map set up, which usually leads to unlocking the path to Pack-a-Punch. We start off by getting enough points to unlock a door which lets us obtain Ted's head. Fans will recognize this gentleman robot as the bus driver from Black Ops 2, but this time around, Ted will be joining us as a new vehicle upgrade, the first buildable attachment for our sweet new ride, Tessie. Tessie is a beast of a zombie-slaying truck, which you will need to traverse this map from area to area, smashing through walls and getting away from these other dead areas in between with infinite spawning enemies that make Usain Bolt look slow. Using our zombie-slaying truck, you will arrive in different zones that you have to restore power to by destroying spores on these beacon-looking devices. I believe there is 5 zones in total, all with their own unique aesthetic and callbacks to old zombie maps and multiplayer maps. Every set number of rounds, you will get a wave of these ghoulish baddies that charge at you. The damage is little, but they attack really fast, and they eat the ground loot that you have laying around. This is what we call the Hellhound or Dog rounds as veteran zombie players. The main zone in the middle that connects all of the areas is where we will find our next Tessie upgrade. Following the given instructions, this is where we're able to get Pack-a-Punch, and we can now upgrade all of our weapons. From here, the game for casuals is just a survival fest. There isn't a lot to cover because most of the features are things that have come from other COD titles. There's only like one new perk and a different gobblegum that you can get in this game, so far at least. For more serious zombie enthusiasts, there is what makes these maps really interesting, which are the Easter eggs. Completing this is essentially like beating the level, if you will. You're completing the map's story, and you're usually greeted with a cutscene which contributes to more of the lore. We're not covering the Easter egg here because those steps can get completely confusing. I mean, this is the first time in a long time the best zombies players took 11 hours to figure it out, when I've seen them in the past do it in like 5 or 3 hours. It actually got solved while we were recording this footage. I would say the last memorable thing in this map was the boss zombies. They introduced this new mutated bear zombie, and if you've seen that movie Cocaine Bear, I would rather fight that because this zombie bear is no slouch. It dashes at you, it has projectiles, every time it hurts you it drains your health slowly for like 5 seconds. Then on top of that, the further you get, more boss variations from past will show up. We only played to about round 26 whenever the exfil had showed up, and we started to see Uber Klauses from Black Ops 6. Not fun. But in all honesty, it was pretty fun. I would say it was a solid experience, and I think it will be a good year for zombies gameplay and the lore. But now let's turn over to the meat and potatoes of the video, what lots of people want to know. How is that multiplayer? So let's go check out what the menu has in store. We're about to enter controversial territory, so I will give you this warning. Multiplayer is such a touchy subject these days because everyone wants the game to be just right, so we will go over what it has to offer and some general thoughts and feelings on what I've experienced. Just like zombies, we do have a create a class in our menus, but like most CODs, this is only accessible when we hit level 5. When we do unlock it, we do have access to custom guns, perks, equipment, and so on. But for now, we have our default classes, which I will show off. We also have our menu with multiple kill streaks from overpower to support. Other than that, in the menus, we have customization, which leads to operators, which is basically just character skins. We have camos for your guns, we've got calling cards and emblems, which is basically just a snazzy little flash of all the challenges you've done. You can show off it to your friends on your player card. And then we have the store. But Call of Duty, you're not getting any more of my money when this game cost me an arm and a leg. The multiplayer has given us 16 maps to play on at launch, with more to come, which is a decent start for more variety. They range from all sorts of sizes, and the color schemes and skyboxes are reminiscent of other titles, which I think is working in their favor. All the normal game modes are here to play: Team Deathmatch, Domination, Search and Destroy, as well as their new mode, Overload, where you have to score points by bringing an EMP device to the other team's objective. It's kind of almost like a play-on of Capture the Flag or Uplink from Black Ops 3. Another big change which has people excited is the open lobby system, which allows you to play with minimal skill-based matchmaking, or so they say, because the public uproar that's been going on for the past 4 to 5 years. Don't worry though, if you prefer skill-based matchmaking, it's still there in its own separate playlist. We jump into some games, and here we have the default classes that are provided, which give you a good understanding of how different gun builds can be made, with assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs, shotguns, and snipers. If you've been around my channel before, you know you will be seeing some sniping in here. I felt each gun handled well. Nothing seemed overpowered yet, and yet being the key word, because if I throw in a 3-month tidbit now, everybody knows what the new meta builds are. There have been new guns added, and what the big problem with the franchise is, the attachments have really taken over the gameplay. Some of the guns I used at the beginning here felt nice, but not great. Once you have attachments, these guns become straight lasers, beaming anybody across the map. Like, where has the recoil gone? The map design was feeling really good. The best part about having more maps is The fact that you're always going to hate some of them, so at least there are also more maps you're going to like. It's just giving you some more opportunities to enjoy your matches. Bonus points for Treyarch. One of the more controversial topics since last year's COD has been Omni movement, allowing the players to move freely, sprinting and sliding and diving in any direction to make for a more intense, fast-paced battle. Not everybody's a fan of this, but this year, they added wall jumping to the mix, and man, it's had me riding an emotional roller coaster. I've hit some cool shots, and some almost shots, like, look at this.
Enemy dog established on your grid.
Could you imagine if that triple connected? But then I have moments where I die to someone I never even saw coming, and I just want to chuck my console out the window. I've gotten a lot better with these mechanics, but jumping into the 3 months of playing aspect, the skill gap on players is getting wider. This deters people from playing, and at the same time, the people who refuse to quit end up playing a slow game. So while you're doing acrobatics trying to combat the unemployment department, flying at you every minute of the match, someone who isn't up to speed is sitting in a corner, and then you die, and you're taken back because you're so used to people moving at Mach speed the whole match. I'd say Call of Duty's in a weird place, because at the core of it all, the multiplayer is good, and at the end of my 8-hour stretch, I was having fun, but I knew the game would become more intensely sweaty as people adapted. It honestly becomes a game of who can adapt faster. And as much as I love these games, and I think they should have a skill gap when it comes to gun skill, you have handed these movement demons weapons that are way too overpowered with attachments when they have the worst aim. Which wasn't a problem that was started by Black Ops 7, but it hasn't been addressed either. The bigger issue is the idea that the company has tried to make things easier for noobs, which is fine until you realize the skilled players have access to the same tools, making it a never-ending cycle. And I mean, I'm ranting now about the game. I do like it. I mean, look at this. I think the sniping is great. Anyway, with that, we have played the game for 8 hours, so let's give our final thoughts. So we gotta ask those 3 important questions, so let's just start it off. How was the story? I mean, not that we played a lot of it. We played 2 campaign missions, and to be fair, they are quite long, and when you're playing with people, you don't want to waste everybody's time, so you take a break after a couple, but it was good. I mean, like I said before, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. It's different, but I like the innovation that the company was going for. You still had the core gameplay. Call of Duty is known for shooting the bad guys, doing the objective, and finishing the mission. It was all there. All the pieces fit the puzzle, and adding the boss fights was a nice touch instead of just going through the story until you meet up with the antagonist and he gets taken out either by a throwing knife, a sniper shot, etc. So I would say the story was good. It set up multiple bad guys and you had no idea where the story was exactly going. You got to experience things from past games, and me and the guys were having a good laugh while playing it. We had some difficulty we had to fight through. We got to work as a team, and it had cool cutscenes. So I would say solid performance when it came to the campaign. Next question we have to ask is, how was the gameplay? So if we take in all aspects from campaign, zombies, and multiplayer, we had a huge menu that gave us tons of settings we could play with. That way we could have the game feel how we wanted to. The mechanics played very well in the game. Graphically, looks great, and it's smooth. I would only say we can touch on the Omni movement from before because that is the one gameplay feature that people aren't so satisfied with. But when it comes to zombies and campaign, it doesn't so much affect it, then more so enhance it. When it comes to the multiplayer, that's when things start to get a little bit messy. Overall, it's a Call of Duty game, and it pretty much plays the same as any other. And the most important question of the day, well, second most when it comes to the end, is was it fun? Yeah, I mean, it was really fun to play. The campaign, like I said, we had good laughs. Zombies was solid. So excited for the year that we have to come for zombies. By now, being 3 months in, we've actually had a second map drop, which has been great. Cool boss fights, cool Easter eggs to solve. And the multiplayer, like I said, as controversial as it is, I was having a good time. There are moments where I am fuming at the game. I want to take my monitor, pick it up, walk to the kitchen, put it on the table, grab a hammer, and smash it. done with it. I'm never playing Call of Duty again, but the next day I come back to it. That's what you know. It grabs you and sucks you in. So, as much as the game can be frustrating, it was fun. It is a fun time to play, especially when you get with people. If you're playing solo, I can see you being a little bit frustrated, not having as much fun, but get together with a group of friends. It's a great time. With everything we covered in this, one last burning question remains. Is Call of Duty Black Ops 7 worth playing? Yes. Because there is so much content in this game, I think it has a little something for everyone. Whether you prefer PvP or PvE, you're going to have somewhat of a unique experience. Is it like other CODs? Of course it is. It's always going to be, but it's not the DLC to Black Ops 6. Well, at the end of the day, that's just one gamer's opinion. This has been the 8-Hour Truth on Call of Duty Black Ops 7. If you enjoy the 8-Hour Truth series, and you have a game in mind that you'd like to see, leave it down in the comments, and maybe it'll be featured in a later episode. This is Nuke, and I'll catch you in the next one.
You have been welcome to the 8-Hour Truth. You have been welcome to the 8-Hour Truth. You have been welcome to the 8-Hour Truth. You have been welcome to the 8-Hour Truth.